Oh, my mother saw me as an extension of her in a way, who would go out into the world and do what it was she was afraid to do. And my mother was afraid to go out into the world a lot. She liked being home, she loved being a mother, but she would often say to me, don't be like me. I mean, I can hear the words, don't be like me. Get an education, go travel, see the world, get an education, over and over, and you can talk to anybody and do anything you want. You just have to be able to go to school. And once you get that under your belt, you'll be fine. Don't get stuck, she always said. And so in many respects, I did that. I have a PhD because my mother wanted an educated daughter. And she didn't need that so much with my sister. So my sister was much more raised to be a homemaker, but not me. She didn't even want to teach me how to cook. I was not learning domestic skills at home. I was learning world skills. I had my nose in the book always. And the most she would let me do is set the table. She taught me how to set the table. I can set a mean table for anything. But my mother liked find things in life. All her reading taught her lots of things. She traveled through her books in different countries and cultures. So I think what she taught me was people are the same everywhere. They're just people. Colors, creeds, religion, whoever they are, rich, poor, doesn't matter. They're people, and they have human needs, and and we all struggle. And be compassionate and care about people and their struggles. So I basically learned to be a psychologist at her knee. When I think about that, she really taught me how to just love people. So it's a very nice thing to pass on, I think. That was really important to me. I was scared a lot as a kid. So my memories a lot as a child have to do with going out into the world and not being afraid. She would always send me out, go do this, go do that. I was this little extension that she thought, I could do it, you can do it, she'd say. You know, if left to my own devices, I would have stayed home, read my book, and not talked to anybody. But she pushed me out often to do things. And to be sociable with people. She liked that about me. I guess that's a part of my dad too. He was often very sociable and liked a lot of people, and he entertained and all that sort of thing. I think I have some of that in me. Can tell a story here and there. But my greatest memory with my mother, I said I have lots of fearful memories. Probably with her a lot around, my mother I used to have long hair to my waist, and my mother used to braid my hair every day. And although some of the pulls I remember were not so nice, and Woody would say, stop hurting that girl, you know, don't pull her hair so much. But my mother and I would talk when I was doing that. So, you know, what are you thinking? What's your day like? What are you expecting at school today? What kind of test are you taking? And I would talk to her a lot about everything, myself, you know, just everything I wanted. And she would listen to me, always listen. When after school, instead of going to the military, which I actually considered because my brothers had left home by going to the military, I won a scholarship to college, but I gave it up because I was afraid to go away to school. But I entered the convent instead. Wasn't afraid of that. It was natural when I think about my mother teaching me so much about faith all my life. God is with you. Never be afraid. That was her answer. You don't have to be afraid. God is always with you. And having no father, I think I used to go to church often and pray to God the Father. I didn't pray to Jesus. I prayed to God the Father, always. So I sort of believed God was my father, and I had a father, and, you know, I could do anything. I tried to believe that even when I was scared. So going to the convent to me seemed almost natural at that point because I was afraid of life and college and boys and leaving home, that kind of thing. So I went in. I was there for about a day when I thought, what have I done? Wasn't smart. However, I'd given up my scholarship, so I stayed. I've stayed for 4 years and felt like the Peace Corps. I taught a little bit. I did a little nursing. I worked hard, did well, and I was Sister Terrence. And they gave me lots of responsibility for a young girl. And I prayed a lot, and I got to be, there was a quietness that I loved. I love the solitariness of life. Maybe it's because of all the people I've grown up with, but I do love that. And that was there. I could read, nobody bothered me. Went to college, and then I always knew I would leave. Eventually, I just didn't know when. And after 4 years, I left. And when I told my mother I was leaving, I mean, she and Woody both had supported me. Surprisingly, they hadn't expected me to go because I went to a public high school. But so they became acclimated to my being this nun. And people would say, oh, your daughter's a nun, oh, this and that. And my dad, Woody'd go out and say, well, I'm buying this for my daughter, she's in the convent. And I go, oh. And, you know, everybody was so thrilled with my being a nun. Now I'm leaving. So I called my mother, and she came out to see me. And I cried. I said, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I have to come home. I just don't want to stay here forever. She said, okay. Why are you crying? I said, well, I don't want you to be disappointed in me. And she said, nothing. I'm a lot like Mickey, I think. Nothing you could do would ever disappoint me. I never forgot that one. That was the best moment. I knew it to be absolutely true. You know, I think my mother made all of us feel really special. And we didn't have any pressure to become or do anything special. Just be. I think she just loved us. So I kept being whoever I was, trying to find me. It worked.
What do you think